scared to deal at them, or you can't like put up the money to table at a convention right now, like how to make the most out of your con experience.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we will be talking about like why they're great shit, and what they can offer you.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of them out there. I mean, it does depend on like where you stay though, and I do admit that it is hard for some people living in like butt end of nowhere to get to a convention, but if you can and you don't have to like spring for the stupidly expensive ones to have a nice like initial con experience.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you can't afford to attend a con, it's okay. It's totally okay. But if you can afford to attend them, they can be pretty worth it. Like I spent some time in the UK. Most of my convention like attendance experience is
MCM
based in the UK.
Yeah.
MCM and Hyper Japan. So
nobody Turns out there's apparently this Comic Con. I found out about this recently. There's something called London Film and Comic Con, and I've not seen anyone go to that. But apparently it's really
LFCC.
popular. Yeah, apparently it's really popular. It should start on YouTube soon. Swag Lord Deluxe. Your name is amazing. But it should start up soon. We're using Restream, so everything takes like a moment to come up, but it'll all come up as soon as it can.
Yeah, so has the podcast started? Yes, it has very much.
Sorry to everyone who
sketchy,
dropped out. Your viewers.
Yeah.
Sketchy. How dare you? I didn't say that.
There's not many like that dropped out, which is great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my convention experience has been mostly attending like MCM. Although MCM I was cosplaying a little bit more, and Hyper Japan I was definitely assisting at more. I was at was it London Film and
London Film and Comic Con. LFCC.
No, not London Film. LAGC, which is now I have to withdraw support for it because it's run by alleged like
Wait, what? Kaz?
University and stuff.
It's run by a who? It's run by a what? Wait, explain this.
It's run by a creepy criminal, but let's not get into it too far because we need to sell cons to artists.
No, I want to know. You can't.
I will discuss it. I will discuss it with you later. But I mean, the Cliff's Notes version of it is that the guy who organizes it is known for a lot of shady business practices and also creeping on underage kids.
Why does this happen to everything anime related?
This is like run by Anime League. So if you see any Anime League related cons, like ALCon, LCon, and the whatever AGCs,
oh my God.
I mean, just don't go there. Like, run by me. But I mean, they're smaller cons, and I wish I could have recommended them because the outlay for tabling there is less expensive. But don't support cons that are badly organized because it's gonna be a whole lot
everyone's
of,
like being really chill and I'm having a fucking heart attack.
yeah anyway let's just have a quick hi to the people. Anime Gate. Anime Gate. Yeah, so Dan, please no. Who says weaves are opiatos? So please don't.
Someone call the lollipop.
Just don't go there because Twitch might have someone looking at the chat and they talking about pedo stuff.
Drink some water. Oh yeah, no, I don't want to end up there's some people. Anyway, that's not the point. Talk about conventions.
The point is,
conventionally
the point is good. Right. All right, and then how about you talk about it from the perspective of your fan? Like, what do you expect to see at a convention?
Every convention I go to, I only expect 3 things to not happen. 1, I don't want to have the obligatory, hey, did you see this guy? He touched my butt. That needs to stop. That just needs to stop. That happens everywhere, and it's so annoying, and it's always true. 2, all the furries should need to stop lining up at the entrance of the door. Like, every time I go to a convention, they all go in, they lie at the front, and they roll over and make cat noises or dog noises or whatever. Please stop. It's so uncomfortable to walk into the convention. That is not a joke, by the way. MCM Comic Con every year for the past 3 years has been that.
Okay, the third one?
And the third one, no Ruby. Just, no, take that shit away from me.
What?
No Ruby. Ruby needs to go away. No Ruby cosplay. No Ruby anything. I don't want to see Ruby. I don't want to know Ruby. I don't want to hear Ruby. Every time the Ruby table comes over, right? They have nothing new to show, and they're just there.
It might be something it might be something that's out of context for the American like viewers. Like maybe it's a British only thing.
No,
so,
you know Ruby, the fucking Rooster Teeth animation.
Oh, Ruby.
Yeah.
Oh, that Ruby.
Yeah,
I
Ruby.
read it as Ruby.
No. Oh my god, who are you? Anyway, but yeah, Ruby. That one.
Like, hey, it holds a place in like the heart of.
Oh yeah, and Burbank is right. Stop taking pictures of cosplayers without their consent. That's wrong.
Okay, so yeah, now that we've gotten all like the salt about conventions out of the way, I mean, let's talk about it from like an artist's perspective. Like, I mean, if you go and visit, I mean, because if you're a comic artist dealing at convention, chances are you're going to be like, you know, making applications to artist alleys and like, I mean, even if you're not making a comic just yet, but you're an artist and you're looking to get into this sort of dealing, yeah, artist alley. I mean, again, most of the advice here is going to be tailored to comic artists, but we will have some stuff that, you know, the not comic artists can make use of, and for the attendee, like what they might what they also might have, like, you know, tips for what to, like, how to make the most out of your attendance.
That is true. Also,
like,
I was gonna say also, this is just a minor thing, but a big thing that creators don't notice is that there's more than one convention, and it's not their fault. It's like the popular culture. Like, you know how we just talked about LFCC? It took me like, I didn't know about LFCC, and apparently it's been running for years. I only knew about MCM, which was a big anime con, and it was the only one I knew until someone told me no, they weren't even the biggest biggest kid on the block. I went to LFCC like a handful of times, and it wasn't on purpose. I went to LFCC for the films, not for the con bit, you know? So, like, learn about your small cons. That's where you're going to find the best people to hang out with. And also the best people in general are just that, because the big cons are full of Ruby fans. Don't do that to yourself. Go to the small cons.
Oh my god.
Meet real people. Like, the small cons won't have the cool cosplays, you know, the cosplay where, like, everybody's wearing, like, a full Bumblebee outfit. But, yeah.
I mean, we are trying to talk about, like, more for, like, comic artists, though. I mean, because we are, I mean, this is the Webcomics podcast.
That's
so
true, but it's just, like, you know, they won't, like, it's the point is, like, I mean, like, it won't have all the fanfare. But... You might not get like enough of your comic fans like at smaller cons, but it might be a better way. I mean, it might be better for you to table there, because you can at least ensure that you've got better interaction with the with them. If I also think
fans really like.
I think you'll actually get more viewers, because small cons also charge less, like way less. Like, people are so used to Comic-Con prices, like San Diego Comic-Con prices, where it's like $200 a ticket. Or like Anime Expo, where it's like $70 to $80 a ticket. Some cons charge like $10, and they run fine. Some cons are free entry. They exist.
Yeah, I mean, Nick and Outsider Rice have a point. Like, you know, big cons at standard merchandise. Like, you get like many sellers, many sellers in the artist alley selling fan art of the same things, just like they've done it all their own way, and you only have so much money. So, here's the thing, right? So, comic conventions ages ago, besides being a place for like people to actually, you know, the niche, like, you know, the niche, like, fans of anime and manga and, like, you know, mainstream Western comics, besides being a place for them to like be able to get together and safely, you know, go ape shit over their fandoms, they were also a lot more of a place for aspiring or, like, you know, actually professional comics creators to go there, you know, especially if you're self-publishing, and push out their wares. So, I mean, for them to like make their industry contacts. So, I mean, people go there and they can put out like samples of the comic, like, you know, the zines. Some, I don't know why Oni likes to call it a zine. It's a zine as in a fanzine, like magazine. No, there's more to it than that.
I'm just insulting the country. Let me get. I'm British. It's natural. We have to do it.
Yeah. So So like I mean those like small time comic artists like trying to get a leg up in the industry, like and meet the professionals who were scouting back then.
Yeah.
They put out like fanzines, like maybe I mean although they put out like zines of their own comic or whatnot. Stuff like small print runs and the like, and you could go over there. It's really very much a little closer to like Japan's comic where a lot of self publishing happens, and it's not always about merch.
Yeah, that's true.
However, as anime and the Western comics have become more mainstream, we are both thankful and a little bit about that. Like, especially because the Western comic mainstreamness comes from superhero film.
Mainstreamness comes from marketability and ability to make money. And anybody who knows art knows that once money gets involved in art to a stupid degree, it starts to lose meaning. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But we need that, which is unfortunate, but we need it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's quite sad when you have a lot of footfall in the bigger conventions, but if the majority of your market are there for the mainstream stuff, it can be hard to pull in new fans and people at conventions. So I mean, I will be talking about my experience at Dojima in Singapore, which is where like which is where like I table with Kari. This is last year. We're gonna be there again this year. So if anyone like is a fan of Exco or reads Merriweather's My Succubus Girlfriend and Fox Girls Are Better,
or you just
go
want
and
to
say hi,
or you just want to see how short Kaz really is. Trust me.
I'm sure compared
the answer
to Kari,
will surprise you.
Yeah. Sorry, Burbank, I didn't see a question. I will check. I will check it later.
Don't read his question. He asked me, "What do I think of digital blackface?" And I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, let's not go there.
It's some BBC thing.
Yes, let's not. But yeah. So anyway, I mean, conventions like if you're an artist on Webtoon, like you have webcomic and stuff, and you have like a substantial number of fans.
Yeah.
And you want to go and you want to go to Artist Alley to push out like maybe print volumes of your comic, maybe some comic merch and stuff like that. Hey, go for it, do it. Although it is a little bit harder to get that recognition at Artist Alley than it is like because you have to put up the costing up front. Don't expect to sell like lots of copies of your print volume, by the way, because the Webtoon audience isn't necessarily going to want to fork out for the print edition unless you have like some extras thrown into it and they are like longtime fans of some sort. Yeah, so it takes a while. Like if you want to go to a convention and start tabling for your comic, don't do it unless you have a substantial fan base and you have been doing it for like doing the comic for some time. Just give them time to like actually be to have that relationship between your viewers and that comic built up to be strong enough. Because Exco didn't actually like go to a convention until maybe about just under a year.
Yeah, which is
just under a year in.
Even then, most of the people who were there weren't even there they were there for Kari more than Exco, weren't they?
No, they were actually there for Exco.
Oh, okay. Because I thought the panel was
we
more
were quite
about
surprised.
him. I thought the panel was more about him.
No. I mean, the panel was about like webcomics and like his experience, but we also did talk about it. But the actual like boothing itself, people did come all the way for Exco.
Ooh.
Yes, we're going on my tangents. That's because you're like talking about like Ruby and stuff like that.
It's not my fault.
But yeah. Oh my god.
No, I see your point. I find that when it comes to outreach, when it comes to that kind of thing, you should wait. You should wait a good amount of time, or else you're gonna go to a con and get very disappointed. But I don't agree with the don't expect to sell a lot, because it depends on what you draw. To be honest, like you talked about Comic Cat earlier. Comic Cat does really well when you're drawing. Are they called dojins? Is that what they're called?
Dojins are like fan comics of an existing franchise.
Yeah.
Like I mean, dojin just literally means self-publishing, but when you say a dojin, usually you mean like it's a fan comic of an existing franchise. You could get people that way. I'm just talking about comic artists who are there to put out merch and print volumes of their own IPs.
Oh yeah, like unless your stuff is like exceptional, people are gonna read it. And the likelihood of being purchased is low. I feel really bad when I do that. I tend to buy everything I pick up, so I try not to pick up anything.
Yeah, I mean, fans have only so much money. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a sad thing.
It's a really bad
I mean,
habit to like, because cons want you to spend a lot of money, but you don't really. Okay, basically, if you're gonna start selling your doujin or your whatever you're drawing, or your original comic, try to make sure that you either have the right amount, right volume, or you're selling at the right price. Because anybody will pay $1 to read whatever you put out, but you would definitely make a loss.
Yeah, the hard part is, yeah, printing isn't always cheap unless you start going for offset printing. I mean, we can talk about printers, but that is a whole other like whole other segment later on. So I will jump back to that.
I know some people actually hand draw, then photocopy and then bind every copy by hand.
Like that, like the small version of that. That's what fanzines were back in the early days before they started like doing all that like fancy like digital printing with color and, you know, like slightly glossy art card with a matte laminate finish cover and stuff. Yes.
Oh god.
If you draw every comic, you don't need to pay for printing. Oh god, you lose your hand that way. Anyway. I mean, I think again, I've been trying to like, you know, I mean, get back to like, you know, how to start tabling, and like I said, I want to focus more on the people who are there and already have an existing webtoon of some sort.
Yep.
I mean, assuming that you've done the webtoon long enough and you have a fan base that's substantial enough, and you are pretty sure that, I mean, maybe in the comments or whatever, like that, I mean, you have a good amount of people who will go to the con. I mean, who tend to like be in the area that you might want to table at or go to the con you're tabling at. Then yes, go for it. Like, I mean, treat the con as like a way to meet the fans in person, not necessarily to get new readers, but yes, that can, and if you can make it happen, should happen. So I mean, like, so we will be discussing how to best like, you know, how to best like, you know, approach your table experience when that happens, because we had a lot of people at Dojima, you know, looking at like, you know, Kari's booth and wondering, hang on a minute, what is this? Because, you know, this doesn't have like fan merch in there for some reason, but there's like lots of cute anime girls, it's all sparkly, and there's a tall dude there. What is going on? So if people come over there and then if you're able to know your comic, like how to like, you know, explain it really like quickly in like, you know, a catchy way, then if they ask more questions, you can keep getting into like the nuts and bolts of your story. Also
show the parts of your comic that you think people will be more interested in, not because of its story quality, but just because when you look at it you go, wow.
For Exco, we had, I mean, the booth backdrop was like a few posters that had like the summary of the story and a few fun facts about like the development, and we had like images like, you know, from the comic itself,
and
like
the girl.
the scene, images from the comic, including the girls. No, we didn't have Exco cosplayers. That would have been fun, but you know, that's not happening for a long time yet. We had like, you know, choice images from the comic. Yeah. We had like a print sample from the upcoming book, which I'm very sorry has taken so long to do, but it will happen. It will happen. He also did have a pre-order special like this. He did have some original comic merch, and we did know that there were quite a few readers coming from Singapore, although they didn't always comment. Yeah. We spoke to people who were like, oh gosh, I didn't know, like, you know, people were still doing comics in Singapore, because the mentality is that over here, like, a lot of people who do comics, they tend to do it for outside, like, you know, external clients based in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, America. Because they pay, and maybe America, because Singapore comic scene at the time doesn't really pay. It still doesn't pay as well. But you know, we did say, you know, it is possible to do it online webtoon, and we had, you know, cards to give away, so that, you know, with the QR code and link, so people could, like, you know, read the comic at their own leisure. Put like the QR code and stuff for people to scan and can read it on their phone instantly. So we were pushing that sort of thing. And what I've seen of like webtoon creators at other conventions, small conventions in Asia, who, you know, I was like, oh god, there are more of us, right? They were also making it easy for you to read online webtoon or tapas or whatever. Say scan this here, or like having a thing that says read it here, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just make it easy for people to like, you know, give it a look. Whether it's like sample copies, like, you know, you can flick through. Obviously, like, you know, try and make sure that people don't run off with them and stuff like that.
How often do people steal sample copies?
Yeah. By the way, this is again assuming that you have been doing your comic for a while, and that you've built up a fan base, and you know you've done your research, and you know that people are going to be your fan base is probably going to be attending that con. Like, even if you put out maybe if you put out an announcement or something like that, like
on your
at the
comic,
end card, and say like saying that, or you're saying that you're thinking of tabling at these whatever cons, like check it out in the comments.
Yeah,
that's one way to like. That's one way to like start deciding which con's close to you. I mean, you don't really want to like go far away for the first con unless you have experience with the con itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because carrying stock is a lot harder than you realize. You once you do that research, and you know, people are like, yeah, let's do this, then you can start ordering some stock in.
Also, there's the added point of one. Okay, if you think you're ready to table, but you don't think you got the fan base to table per se. I mean, and I say fan base, I mean like maybe you're not all the way. You're not like you're not guaranteeing yourself like 40 or 50 people coming out, but you're guaranteeing yourself maybe like 10 or 20 or 30. Table with someone else, like it's completely normal. Just get a friend, get a friend who also draws. Make a friend first, then force them to come with you to a con, and table and print their own stuff too, and just, you know, be there.
Preferably someone who is more experienced and in the con circuit, and also has a history of like pulling in other people.
That's true.
It's even better if they're also a comic creator and themselves, and then they're like, hey, I'm like, you know, looking after this person. They're like, you know, the next big thing to watch. I mean, you go to a con for those connections as well. Like when you start dealing as an artist. SP says, like, just because you have a lot of fans doesn't mean they have the money to pay for it. That is very true, especially if you have made a name for like for like, you know, drawing stuff that people can easily get for free. On the other hand, you may have a subset of fans who don't say much, but they're actually following, and then finally when you show up, they will actually drop the money. And Curry met some people who he didn't know by name, obviously commenting name and all that, but they actually came up and like bought stuff, and we were very, very surprised.
That's actually true. Also, the thing you said about making the comic available, if I can just pull back to that for a second, to read online, it is very helpful. I just remembered that happened to that. I have done that before. I've been at a convention. I think it was at WonderCon or something. It was one of the smaller cons in America. When I was way younger, and someone told me about their comic, and they're like, "Oh, it's on this website." And I remember getting out my laptop, because, you know, phones weren't that good at the internet then. I remember getting out my laptop when I was in the car. I just went to the car to rest, and I decided to read it. So the internet from the convention place was on, and I read a bit of their comic, and I went back in and I bought a copy. So like it is useful. Even if they don't buy it immediately, it allows them to go back, see your stuff, think about whether they want a physical copy of it. Who knows, especially now with phones. I know, talk about technology like an old man. Especially now when they can just read really quickly. They could just walk all the way around a con and realize they really like where you are, and come back and find your table and buy a copy. So she's got a good point about that.
Yeah. About print copies, yeah. I mean, because assuming that, yes, you're going to pull the trigger on selling print copies of your comic at cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, please remember that printing is not the same as for the web. And if you have been drawing slightly small resolution at all this while, and you know formatting is going to be one of your biggest bugbears when you start formatting your comic prints.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're trying to like do this while you're also like doing your regular episodes and the like, rope someone in to help you. No matter how like, you know, much you're like, you know, good at doing, or you're like, rope someone in who is experienced with like, you know, printing, like, you know, printing restrictions, like in like you must have a multiple of 4 pages, because that's how paper and printing works, by the way, in books.
Yeah.
If you multiple 4 pages, maybe not including the cover, that might be different depending on the choice of cover, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I've seen so many people, like, they're doing well in the webtoon like layout and stuff. I mean, you translating it over to print, you might not necessarily have the right experience for it. Like, I mean, you could do, but then even if you do, like, you might also find that you have to do some touch-ups or redraws or panels. And this is the reason why Exco Volume 1 is taking so long.
I've been waiting for this whole time.
No, I do understand. But there's one warning I have to give you there, because I mean, printing formats, like for print comics, like usually kind of go, I mean, the different like size conventions for whether you're in America, because America uses all sorts of weird imperial.
Everything is different in America.
and then you have your usual A or B sizing in, like, outside of America.
Yeah,
so I mean, manga tankobon are usually, your typical book manga book, like from Japan, is usually about a B6. A B5 if it's bigger, like almost graphic novel like size.
Yeah.
You can do A4, A5 if you're if you're really lazy to, like, do outside standard. Printing companies may like give you custom sizes, but that may actually cost you more, and because cutting the extra means paper wastage. So try to like stick to the usual like comic sizes. Then set up your document, go to town on like the layout work, and get people to look over it every now and again, because
definitely. I mean, that's like the biggest problem of printing, isn't it? It's just like, you start the setup, you lay it out, you think everything's going perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden you realize that it's all been a lie.
Yeah, especially if you webtoon. There's some things that on webtoon that will not translate over to print, but there's some things you can do in print to compensate for it. So I mean, also make use of that.
I gotta ask, but this is like a question I wanted to know. If you've been drawing in too low a resolution, wouldn't that essentially mean that when you print needs to have a higher, you basically have to redraw everything?
You pretty much do, yes. I mean, it depends how many pixels wide your thing is, and for best print quality, we do for like comics about 300 pixels per inch in printing. I know printers work in dots per inch, but if you because you count like images for digital in pixels, if you like roughly like translate it to like whatever size, inch size your page is gonna be, and you have like at least 300 pixels for each inch of that page size, and then you should be fine. Just there should be like ways if you're using Clip Studio Paint, put in your paper size, and it gives you like how many pixels you should have your image at anyway, which is really convenient. It is very convenient.
Jay explained this to me because we're working on that comic collabs thing. And I don't understand how he explained all this to me, and you're explaining it to me now, and I still don't understand. Like, I get it, but I think my brain just hasn't been able to wrap around the way printing.
So very important. I trust that most seasoned artists will already be working on high resolution for their webtoon, and then sizing it down for the actual like long and narrow canvas. But because some people have they go in with the intention to print someday, so they're drawing it like large on purpose. On the other hand, I know people who've been working on like the really like narrow canvas from day one, so they've never like drawn their things large enough. Then when the time comes for them, they will say, "Oh, I want to print this." Then they're like, "Oh shoot, I have not drawn it large enough to print." Because for example, right, when Carrie does his panels and they're large enough, I just have to like put them in like the print layout. I actually shrink them to fit. And then if something is being like exposed because of the panel shape, I just ask him to like fill that area in slightly. Or I can do it myself if it's not very complicated. That is so much better than having to redraw the whole thing. It's quick.
It saves you like a ton of problems. It's because this would probably take way longer than it currently is if he had drawn it the standard webtoon way, wouldn't it?
Yes, that's pretty much. There's some things that I have to make concessions for as well, because in chapter 3 of his comic there is a huge like expanse of like blank with just text in between, like text like in different parts, just a passage of time. Doesn't work in print. Doesn't work in print.
Does not.
It doesn't. So I had to like suggest like so I had to suggest like some other example like panels or like things he could draw to fill in the space without affecting the passage of time too much. But still keeping the mystery there, because that is why he had like the blank in the first place. But then again, right, it was his early chapters, so I mean you got to give him a pass for that.
Oh, definitely.
Yes,
I mean, I've seen Spider-Man do that though before. That like
Spider-Man did.
yeah, Spider-Man has done that. Like, you know, where it just has text, to show passage of time, but isn't really showing any images. Amazing Spider-Man issue number. No, I'm not gonna get weird, but an issue. I'm gonna get weird if I start talking about it like that. But one of the Amazing Spider-Mans I read when I was younger, left an entire page that was just that. Like, just like, you know, text. To be fair, I've also seen a Spawn comic, a chapter of Spawn. You know Spawn the comic, an episode of Spawn, an episode of Spawn that was just that. And I don't know if that's good anymore because oh, hold on, wait.
Twitch isn't working.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, I mean, just a reminder, guys. Like, you know, Twitch Twitch is actually, if you can like select the video quality right now because it lets you, but if you can't for some reason,
just go to YouTube. Yeah. And also we can read all your comments on YouTube, and we can do all the stuff on YouTube, so don't worry.
Yeah, it's not an issue. Streamulate, so FA. Yeah, I think Twitch is having a bit of a field day. There are quite a few people I know streaming, but that's besides the point. Yeah, bottom line, so far, like, if you haven't been scared off, like, you probably realize that we're getting at cons as a way to, I mean, sell print volumes is a little bit of a scary undertaking, and usually should be done with at least one person helping you out.
Indeed.
To even prepare the print volume, let alone sell it at the con.
Like, if you read any there's a manga I read that talks exactly about this exact thing. They were prepping for Comic Cat, and they had like 7 people. You know, the thing I said even with the photocopies, they still took 10 people because they had to draw, line, ready everything just for the print format that they'd been writing for the whole time. It's a lot of work. Hey, X, welcome back. It's a lot of work. But I think we've talked about it from perspective of, I want to sell stuff. I want to market myself at the con. You should talk about it from the perspective of what you can gain from just going to the con, and what you should try to experience as a creator, who's going in as a visitor, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, as a visitor, like what you can expect like from cons these days.
Yeah.
And again, like, it's harder. It's less likely that you're going to go to a con to discover like webcomic artists, because cons these days are all about you go there to meet to like, you know, get fan merch. Apparently, like, you meet your favorite creators and talents behind like big mainstream IPs, which is a little bit, especially the larger cons, which is a little bit sad. But there are some cons that are still dedicated to having a space for like up and coming creators,
smaller people.
Yeah, so MCM, for all the bashing we do about them, their artist alley, their designated artist alley, is geared towards people who actually have their own like comics up. So if you've got it published in some form, whether it's webcomic or actual print volume, you qualify for applying for an artist alley table there. If all you do is fan merch, not happening.
Yeah, that's true.
You have fan comic as well about IP that on IP you don't own, not happening.
That's true.
It's also because
MCM really also tries to protect actual up and coming artists in the United Kingdom. For all the things that you can say about them, they do try. Although their table prices are still really high.
London, but at the same time, yes.
Yeah, it's London, and they are the biggest con in London, in the country. So it's what it is. But you should, like, I think for people who are coming, if you're an artist and you want to go to a con to meet new artists, or, you know, just know what's going on in the space. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just read what Yas says. But if you want to know what's going on in space, I suggest going to the medium-sized cons, not the small cons. The small cons have this really weird drawback of, if they've been small for a bit too long, and they haven't really gained too many new people, they turn into this weird circle jerk, where it's just the same people coming in and telling themselves the same thing and buying the same thing, and new people aren't really looked upon very well. But that's, again, it's not all of them, but it is mostly the small cons. Like, so the medium cons are where you want to be at. The London Film and Comic, London Film Comic Convention.
I feel like LFCC is like bigger.
LFCC is bigger than we're giving it credit for, but it is small enough that it's still pretty small and cheap. for what it, like, you
and
know,
that you don't feel like you're gonna die walking around the con itself.
there's ton, but also look in your, depending on what country you live in or what state, just look, like, check, right? Just write the name of your country or the name of your state if you're in America, or the name of your city in the United Kingdom, or really pretty much anywhere in Europe or in the world. Write that and write Comic Con, and you see what comes up, because there are a lot of like medium small cons that don't really advertise because they can't afford to, but they're there, and you should go there and meet the people who create and sell, because while they might be bigger and they have more fans, people willing to give them money, they are very down to earth and very willing to talk and meet new artists, because I mean, who isn't? Y'all are great people, I bet.
You might meet some people actually working in like, you know, print comics, but not so much the web comics, and you can still learn stuff from them. Like
the print medium is a really good one to learn from, in my opinion.
Especially if you're not a comic artist, quote unquote, yet, but you want to get into it, but you want to like dip your toes in by inking for people, coloring for people, penciling for people. Comic cons are actually a better way to get some of those traditional, quote unquote, comic jobs.
It's also a really good way
preferably,
to get... Sorry, yeah. So it's also a really good way to place to sell yourself to people who are looking for those. Like, just,
caveat is have examples of your work like easily available. You don't have to tote around this huge ass portfolio. Just, you know, a place that people can, your name cards, and like, you know, a place where people can easily, like, you know, open up take up the cell phones or whatever and look at what you've done, or like if you have a small like binder with your stuff in it, even better.
If you think like, if you don't have the money for I'm gonna say this is a caveat, if you don't have the money for a website, or you don't want to carry around a binder, genuinely put all your work and take pictures of all your work, or scan it, put it all on the Google Drive, and just keep the Google Drive link on your phone, and then just send it to people. Make sure it's open and available to everyone. Send it to people to have access to it. Just that will help you out so much.
A shortened link for the Google Drive, because, you know, no one remembers all like the string of characters. So if you have a bit.ly or something like that, always have something on you to give to people. Yes, that's right, SB.
Indeed.
Jay saying about Webtoon checking portfolios and pitches. Yes, that is correct. Like, Webtoon makes some of the bigger cons. Webtoon actually makes an appearance at. This is exclusive to North America only at the moment, I'm afraid. But if you can get yourself there and talk to these people, yes, do it.
Do it,
like,
hella.
Do it. Like, you know, make the most of it, especially if you're paying money to like travel to the con and stuff.
Also, if you just find actually, this is one that I got as an experience from a con. It's when you meet a lot of these people, like, sounds really bad to say, be memorable.
Not in the bad way.
This is not in the bad way. Don't do anything stupid, but like, be interesting as an individual, in that when you know what you make and you own what you make. And I understand how hard it is to talk about what you make. Hell, I find it really hard to talk about this podcast to people, because it's just like, you're making something and you're kind of embarrassed when you want to talk about it, because it's like, I make it and I don't want my friends to see it, whatever. Get over that. When you meet people, you need to walk into their face and be like, yo, I like what you're doing. I'm making these things. I really like how you're working on this. You know, be expressive about what you want to talk to them about. Be memorable, be remembered, be interesting. Don't go in there and think they're just going to like you. Don't expect them, but they're not going to hate you. They're willing to know about your stuff, but don't be in their face about it.
Yeah, maybe it's two-way street, because you can't just go in and like start selling yourself, because you should, I mean, talk about their work, right? And like, when you say be memorable, I think one of the things that's helped me personally, as I mean, I don't just talk to them about I don't just talk to them about their art. Like, if the conversation naturally might segue from their art to like other experiences that they've had that are slightly related, maybe sometimes not always related, but they're still people too, right? And sometimes talking the same thing over and over about their own work can be a little bit of like ugh.
They've heard everyone say it before, so say something different. Talk about something new to them.
If you're asking them what advice can you give for people starting out, it's a little too broad. It's a little too broad of a question. They won't have all the time in the world to answer you. I mean, ask like slightly targeted questions. If they once they give you the answers, like, I mean, it can help like to sort of like clarify what they mean by the answers and stuff. That's how you get like a conversation that can segue into other places.
A really good question that you can ask that I think people wouldn't think is trivial. I don't know, Kaz, you can correct me on this, but would be to walk up to them and be like, "Hey, I have a lot of work. I've done a lot of. If you ask me a question, be like, I've done a lot of work with this. I've done a lot of work with this. Explain what you've done. Don't be vague. You know, if you've done a lot of animation work and you see that they do a lot of art, and you're like, I've done a lot of animation work. I really want to get into art. Is there any particular not is there any knowledge you think would be beneficial to getting into art? A lot of people will just tell you life drawing and stuff. It's good advice. Listen to them. But you know, that kind of thing. Be pointed. Don't be too broad. Don't be like, I wanna draw comics. How do I start? No, be like, I wanna draw comics. I've done these things to achieve this goal. I need to know what the next step is from here. That's when they can give you useful advice. You know? That's when they can help you.
Even then, right, they can probably give you better advice if they see some of your work and stuff
that
like
too.
that. They might sometimes like then ask you like, hey, what's your comic gonna be about? Or they might sometimes be at that moment in time a little bit too tired to ask you about that. Don't hold it against them. Conventions can be tiring.
Oh yeah.
They are. Hang on. Yeah, X is right. Be genuinely interested in their work. Like, I mean,
don't just talk to someone for the clout. Like what they make. It's like the most important part of like everything. Even in what we do, we don't invite people on if we don't like what they make. It's not because we hate people, but it's like, sorry, guys, for cutting you off like twice.
That's fine. It's Discord.
Okay. It's not because we hate people or anything. It's just because like the best way to ensure that when you're talking to them, they can see that you're truly interested is to actually like what they make. Because it's very easy to tell people don't like what you make. It's so easy. You can see it in their eyes and the way they say things and the way they gesture to you. You can just tell they don't give a shit. So give a shit.
Whatever show people means so that make it memorable. I guess Jay, oh my god.
I want to be the one in the Garfield costume.
Yeah. Okay, someone related question. For those exhausted a bit easily by social interactions, how do you prepare yourself so that you can have good fan interactions? Are you talking about people who are creators or like just fans who are asking?
I think she.
Yeah, for creators.
Yeah, I think we creators. I think you take a note from Yoko Taro, the creator of Nier Automata. Mm-hmm. He wears a mask, and he's really eccentric. He cuts every social interaction down into like minute-long things because you're like talking to the man, and he just sounds demented. So you just stop. And he's wearing a mask. He doesn't have to show his face. You know, a lot of the stresses of like regular interactions with people is dropped when they can't really see your face. At least in my opinion, they are.
Yeah, it's a joke, but joke aside, having someone else around with you who like who can talk about the same thing also kind of helps in a way.
Yeah, it does.
Like I mean, it can mean you are allowed to take like breaks like from being at your stand, like, and sometimes you will get like a slight break because like you might not always have like a lot of people like crowding around at that time. That you just use it to recharge and stuff. I mean, under no circumstances would you want to like squat under your table and just sit there rocking in one spot. Yeah, that's like well, I would advise you see someone else for that.
That happens though. You know that happens, right?
Like sitting under your table? No, and like just rocking yourself?
like creators who freak out when they're meeting fans and then they can't handle it, so they just kind of hide. Like they hide in a visible location where you can see them hiding, but they don't think you can see them.
That's why I would say like to quote in Zelda, like it's dangerous to go alone. Take this, a person. Yeah. Who like take someone.
The mask thing sounds like a joke, but I mean, if you make if part of your thing, if your comic has like a masked character, I wasn't even kidding. Like wear a mask, it helps. Like if you can make like a full head mask that you're okay with wearing for hours on end, do it. If it's because for a lot of people, like social interaction is weird because they can see your face. In my opinion, it happens to me sometimes. It happens to people I know. It's just because they can see who you are and see what you look like. It gets really stressful. But with the anonymity of a mask, if you can wear one and it fits what you're doing and you can be easily identifiable with it, do it.
Time to make a Garfield mask. It could be. I mean, I don't know. If you're an artist and the comic artist hat is usually a newsboy cap, like, I mean, preferably use something different when you go.
Yeah.
Airdrop your question to them.
None of us slapped.
That's assuming they use iDevices.
Just tell all your fans to come with iPhones. If they come with an Android, well, they're fucked.
Oh God! Like back in the days of loot jacking. Okay, deviation side. This was like I mean like the early days like setting up and like making sure you've got your comic ready for print if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Say you didn't want to set your comic up for print. You were just wanting to sell like merch of your comic.
Yes.
Unless you have a guaranteed following. Again, like it is always going to be a gamble, even if you're a featured creator, as to whether you will sell enough, let alone sell out whatever you want to bring.
Yeah, merchandise doesn't sell too well.
Sorry,
merchandise doesn't sell too well. If you're making T-shirts, actually, this is a point. If you're making T-shirts for your merch, and the designs are cool in spite of what they are, which is something you should try to aim for, people will buy them.
Yeah, that's so you can still get a crowd that doesn't read your comic but as much, but they'll still buy like your stuff because it looks cool.
Yeah, like so if you've got that, do that. If you can print T-shirts that look cool and they're just like, yeah, I would wear that going outside, do it, because people are people, man. They'll take
prints may be slightly cheap to produce, but people are gonna like, why would I want to like have a pinup of like someone unknown when I can have like a pinup of my waifu? Same thing for a T-shirt, to be honest. But then again, but you can sort of slightly offset that a little bit.
Yeah.
Keychains, they take a while to come in. A lot of people order them in from China, and you have to have a minimum order quantity, and it can be a little bit demotivating if you don't sell enough of them at the convention, but. At least you can sell the rest of them online if you need to, and the packaging for them is not going to be as complicated as prints will be.
That is true.
Unless your print is like postcard size or something like that.
That is true. If you're electronically inclined, and this is just a little bit of advice from me because I'm a little bit of that. If you can make something cool, electronic, and handmade, because when Cass said China, I just thought about it. You can order a bunch of board parts from China, and they're really cheap. And you can make really cool like electric sign boards and stuff, really, really low priced, even programmable ones. And you can use them
for your con stand.
Yeah, you can make not just for your con stand. You can also use it to make merchandise from. Like, my friend and I made a 6-button keyboard that was based around this one this one video game we liked. We painted it up and designed it, but we had a 6-button keyboard, and people like that stuff. People buy it from his site. Like that kind of stuff. So if you can make good signs using small electronics, but also, small electronical toys that people will just like because they're toys, let alone because of what they're related to, it helps. Understanding that if you're not having a big following, but you really want a con table, you need to sell things essentially that aren't just you related. It sounds really bad to say, but you're not important when it comes to a convention. You're like the last person.
You might get a subset of people who come for your fan merch, but then they also see some like interesting stuff for your own IP and go, hey, hang on, what's this? Yeah. So you might draw the people in that way. It's actually, on the internet, people complain, oh yeah, I get more likes when drawing fan art, but not when I'm drawing my own like comic stuff. Like, I don't know
because fan art is known. Fan art permeates society. Like that's the reason why a Deadpool cosplay will get more likes than like a fucking random cosplay of your character. Like
it's a little bit sad, but you know what I mean. I can't like control how people feel, but I do advise, don't feel bad, because these people have had obviously years and years of pushing the comic out, years and years of promotion, and pushing it into all the stores, which is how it gets known. You're a one, possibly two or more team one man team doing your comic. You're not going to be able to get that same amount of push per se. The social media makes it easier, but everyone's on social media as well, fighting for attention. So don't feel bad that you can't measure up to fan art of IPs that are pretty huge, because people have the money to push them into all the different channels.
That's true.
And as frequently as they do, compared to your underdog indie comic. Yeah So expectations, manage the hell out of them.
Manage them to death.
If you can if your comic is about something that people can identify with, I sell like I sell Exco to people. It's like, yeah, Fate and like Kantai collection meets stationary waifus.
Yeah, I remember.
So
that.
that's how
that's
I
really
sell.
funny.
When I say when people ask me like, hey, what's Drive about? It's like, do you like Rurouni Kenshin? Because that's pretty much like, some of the things that Drive was inspired by. So if you like sci-fi, also you probably like Driver too.
No.
Hey X, I'm selling you out, yeah.
Which reminds me, actually, back to the thing that someone said, dealing with meeting fans at a con. Another thing is just don't have a table. No. Hear me out. Anyway, don't have a table. Just walk around con and be like, I'll be wearing this, and if you find me, come say hi. Because
Stina did that.
Yeah,
he did that.
Adam Savage did that. Adam Savage ran Mythbusters, and he's really popular in the video game anime sphere for some reason, because he goes to every convention in a unique costume, and the first person to find him gets like $100. But like,
tested and unique costumes are really good.
He does that because he likes fan interaction, but I don't think he enjoys the mass fan gathering thing. So he does that, and it really works. Like if you really don't think you can handle the stress of meeting multiple people all the time, well, just be a visitor to conventions. Just be a convention visitor. Just be like, hi, I'm gonna be here. I'll be wear something unique, but not too unique so they don't find you immediately. I'll be wearing this and this. Or I'll be wearing like a t-shirt with the picture of this person's face on it. And if you see me, say hi. I really want to talk to you, but I don't want to talk to you for too long. And then just, walk around. That way you can have your fun. You can enjoy your time. And when you see them, it's just like a casual pass-by conversation. It doesn't get crazy.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to like sell stuff there, the con per se. But that's another way you can, as a creator, like meet some fans for a bit. Yeah. Maybe if you sort of like dip your toes into the whole like convention experience and interaction for a bit, especially if you're not very used to that sort of thing. I think I think it's very. We underestimate like how many like artists, because they're so like. They're always like drawing like at like their work, and they're cooped up for like hours on end on their work. They when they get out, it's a rare moment for them. I mean, obviously there are artists who like they're very seasoned with the whole like interaction game. Like it's one thing to do it online with a lot of people. You can reply like to quite a lot of comments online. You can see them all at one glance.
It's a lot easier to handle.
One voice talking, another voice talking like at you from many different directions can be a bit like. And you feel like the need to reply instantly, and you can't like edit your answer before you click send. So yeah.
Also, Cass said, Cass said, the outside of a convention center is always free. Not true. MCM Comic Con does not let you hang around outside. I know this because I bought tickets and I hung around outside with my friend talking for a while, and they just like, sir, they came to check if I had a ticket for the convention. So like. No. Yeah,
it depends. I think because cons in the US, what happens is you need a ticket to get into the sale areas in like the convention center, which are like different rooms that you can wall off. The outside area, yes, you can. Like MCM used to be able to do that, not anymore. Hybrid. If you go to Olympia, you could still do that, but the outside's not very scenic compared to XL.
San Diego Comic Con lets everybody sit outside because San Diego Comic Con has no standards. It's really harsh.
Nen, what do you know?
That's really harsh. I know about the. I know about the.
Sir has a question.
Yeah, I saw the question. I wanted you to read it while I just. I know about the SDCC after parties. I've been to like a few. No. Just no.
We call that we sometimes call that LoserCon or like HoboCon or something like that. If you go there and you don't buy a ticket.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations?
Do you have any recommendations?
One.
Sorry.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations for getting one's work out there, or original content out there from personal experience, and have there been things you found to be oddly specific? Okay. Soro, we covered this in a separate episode like a while ago, but I'll just give you a really quick rundown. The easiest way to get your stuff out there is to find more places to put it. Legitimately.
So the thing is, our show usually covers people who upload this stuff online, Webtoon. Yeah. Sometimes Tapas, because Tapas is a little bit more chilled for men, and Live Webtoon has the backing of the Naver conglomerate. Now, the good thing about these sites is that they have the algorithms that do like push you, like I mean, to give you visibility.
Yes.
Like when you if you upload and you upload often enough, and your work isn't like dead fish standard, then yes, you will get bumped up, and there are lots of people viewing the site to so you get that traffic.
That's true.
So in social media, not so great for that sort of thing, because everyone, like, people on social media aren't always looking for comics, but
That's
people on Webtoon are looking for comics.
But you shouldn't negate the fact that there are lots of places for you to post on. This is very sidetracky. This is for people who, but like whatever. I'll just delve in a little bit. Fine. Use your resource. I'll tell you some places that I've gone to that are decent. Imgur, is that what people call it? Imager? I call it Imager. But I don't know.
Or something like that.
I think I'm not down with the kids. Imgur is really good to upload to. Depending on what you make, it gets different levels of popularity. Literally, like 80% of Shen's popularity comes from Imgur. Because he used to post all the stuff on Imgur, people would steal it, make memes from it, and then he got popular. That's Shen. Make sure that everything you upload outside, like, okay, have a central point for all of your content. It's very important to have that.
Sketchy plus.
Yeah, I know. I love that guy. Have a central point for all your content. Make sure that when you're making on yourself, be like, all right, I want everything to come here as like my so-called end point, and then from there I can tap off wherever I want. So for example, let's say you're a Webtoon creator, you put most of your stuff on Webtoon, you only make on Webtoon. You go, well, I'm going to upload all these things to, Tapas or to Imager or to Manga Dex, and I'm going to put at the end of everything, I'm going to be like, hey, if you want to get the releases on time, early, at the right time, check me out on Webtoon, right? So everybody who reads your stuff outside will go to Webtoon. Now, from Webtoon, you can go wherever you want. You can then use it to tap off to your Twitter and your whatever. But it's very good to have that central point. It's just a natural thing you must have at some point.
All right. One caveat is, if you are making your comic like mostly formatted for print, you will want to make sure that if you're uploading your work, like it can still be read like nicely on the smartphone. The whole good and bad part about these sites like Webtoon and Tapas is that they leverage on phone traffic a lot. Like people like on their commutes, or like bored and just scrolling through their phones. They're going on to look at comics rather than having it up on like the big PC screen and stuff. It's just also like slightly more comfortable to read on your phone.
It is much more comfortable in that format.
Binge quickly.
Webtoon's also taken away, and I just realized they've taken away their regular print comic book reading format that they used to have. They used to have it for everyone, and they took it away.
Was it Tapas or Webtoon? Like Webtoon never really had it.
Webtoon had it. Like that's why Illustrated Internet. If you read Illustrated Internet on your phone, you would see that it swipes right.
We didn't have a swipe right for Webtoon. Tapas.
Check Illustrated Internet right now. Go on your phone.
Right now? Hang on.
Open your phone. Check Illustrated Internet. They used to have it. They used to let people do it, and then they took it away, and I don't know why. I think it's because they've been trying to push this new format, and they're like, it's the best one.
It's not really new. Like, I mean, when Webtoon started up in 2004, that was the format of choice. I almost got sidetracked, but Mary's like new feature is up. So we'll promote it later.
Okay.
Hang on. So Illustrated Internet.
Yeah. Yumi sells right? as well. Behind the Gifts. They all swipe right.
Oh, this is interesting.
It's getting sidetracked.
Okay. So this is all featured, by the way.
Yeah,
so
but like it used to be in Discover, but Discover creators weren't choosing it. I remember this. I don't remember the comics that had in Discover. Discover comics weren't choosing it, so they just took it away because that's the Webtoon way, apparently.
Wow.
But
then you have a fan.
I have lots of fans.
Virus is hearing you is so nice.
Yeah, Vira is my fan. X is my fan. Burbank is my fan. SP is my boy. Grill, I don't remember.
So guys, basically, I'm just here to make Nen look good, Yeah,
exactly. You'll bet. Joachim is my home slice. We're from the same country, so we're close. We have that tie that people don't have.
Yeah, I mean, well, while you brag about all your ties, they're not gonna like get you a bit more visibility and more like info out to our viewers on convention stuff.
Damn.
Anyway,
I just got burned.
learning while making spaghetti. Yeah, swipe right, almost like Tinder, but except you're swiping right on webtoons. Okay, yeah, so many ways to go about like visiting the convention circuit and making the most out of it as a creator. You can like drop money for a con table, preferably a half table to start off with, and pick your cons wisely. Or you can just like do a fan meet of some sort without selling anything, and on your own terms. Just post an update saying I'm going to be attending this con, and then let's catch up.
Actually, apart from cons, I just remembered. Apart from cons, like when we're talking about alternatives, more or less. Apart from cons, you can also just organize to meet at like events or just randomly. Like I know we're talking about conventions here, but someone talked about like meeting them without. You can just be like, "Yo, who wants to go get coffee?" If you live in the San Diego area, and this coffee shop, do you want to come? I've seen that happen before, and it works. If you're big enough,
who does that?
If you're big enough, it works.
Who does that? Like, I want to know who does that, because there
was this YouTuber.
You could have privacy issues.
Yeah, but there was this YouTuber I knew, because everyone knows where you generally live when you make content or whenever you're doing something. Eventually, it comes out where you generally live. So, like, a lot of people just go, "Hey, I'm currently in the XXX area. If you know XXX pizza shop, come hang out." And then like 40 people will show up.
Okay, just one thing. This is, I mean, it's different for YouTubers versus comic creators, though, Nan, because comic creators probably value their privacy a lot more than.
If you're into it and you're down for it and you think you can do it, it's probably an easier, less heartbreaking way to meet people, and also just not have to worry about it too much. You're not worrying about all the people around you. No one else is watching you but yourself. I'm just saying.
Just make sure you have someone else there as well, because like sometimes you can have you can have like some really weird fans, but touch wood, you won't. But I like to prepare like creators for any eventualities, and even at conventions, I have met like some fans that can be a little bit too young and overeager, and it really helps when you have someone else there to be this bad cop, so you don't have to be.
That's true. Also, if you know where your favorite creator lives and they're not your real friend, don't go to their house. This is just a very important sign. Don't go to their house. Never go to the house of anybody, of people who make stuff.
Don't dox their coming and going.
Yeah, don't dox them. Don't be weird. Don't be that person. If you want to kick it, I'm a Five Guys.
Speaking of privacy stuff, that reminds me, but have you heard of, experienced any scary incidences happen when it comes to messaging or IRL meetups? I can't say that my creators have, but I can say that if you're doing it at a convention, usually con staff are milling around, and if you feel uncomfortable and it's a little bit too much, you can engage in con security a little bit. Although if you're doing like the fan meetup without an actual table, they might not be as inclined to help you out, because it's like, hey, you kind of like sorted this out on your own. Yeah. So
also like,
but if you have a table.
Yeah. Also, honestly, like for the most part, like 99% of fans are just overeager children. It's fine. Like overeager adults and overeager children. They're less harmful. They're more. What's the word?
Mm-hmm. They're just more like they're just more like naive a little bit.
Yeah, they're less sycophants and more just a bit cray. Like they're so obsessed with what they want to do that they're not really thinking about how it comes across. But if you make it clear, they're chill. They usually chill out, and if they don't, just punch them in the nose.
Nah.
You have to defend yourself. I'm just telling them.
Nah, don't sink that low. Jeez, you want people to go around and say, "Oh my God, XXX creator is like, this and that."
Dude, if somebody ever says that, do you know how happy I will be? Somebody listened to this podcast and took my advice.
Then you'd be asking them to live out that Mean Girls line where she's like, One time, she punched me in the face. It was awesome.
Yes. privacy punch. Yeah, be like All Might. Shout your move before you do it. Instead of Detroit Smash, be like privacy punch. Knock someone out.
Oh no. See, now I've had to end up moderating this damn podcast because then it's like
meme review. I am the worst thing to happen here.
Real talk though. Don't be a dick as a creator. Yeah. Don't be a dick as a visitor. Just don't be a dick in general. Yeah. Whether you're tabling there or not. Just don't.
What she said. She knows her shit. Listen to her more than me. Genuinely.
Do as I say.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. I'm not safe.
Wait. You don't do this, but you say this, so you know.
Well, yeah, because I would still punch them.
guys. We are a beneficial stream. We do not condone violence, okay, against fans or against creators. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's right.
That's why I say at least bring someone else who you trust around with you, especially if you you're anxious over this thing.
Oh, also organize transportation. Con days tend to be very, very busy. It's not just meeting people. It's just you start every time there's a convention and people know you're going to be there. All of a sudden, you might have a bunch of responsibilities. So it's good to organize transportation as well as you can, knowing that I want to be out by 7. You don't want to get sidetracked by some shit. You want to be out by 7. Your Uber calls you at 7. You head out. You go home. Just try and organize yourself, because it's also a good way of keeping safe. Because if you're out by 7, knowing you want to be out by 7, and you see some weird creepy fan or something, you're out. You're in your car. You're out. You're gone. They can't follow a moving car, at least. Hopefully they can't, but they won't.
No, you never say never. They never say never.
Never. Oh my god, you sound like Justin Bieber. Never say never.
No, please, never say never isn't only a Justin Bieber song. What are you on,
It's the only Justin Bieber song. There are 3 Justin Bieber songs: Baby, Never Say Never, and What Do You Mean?
Oh no.
Bring someone else, and so you can punch them together. Show them the power of friendship. George, the greatest man ever. I love George.
Oh my gosh.
You never thought it would end up like this, did you?
Oh gosh.
Jesus.
Hang on. I told you that I met Must Soap at a convention, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And you bought a giant Must Soap pillow.
I have a giant Must Soap pillow, didn't I? I don't know if we can bring the photo out or something like that. It's in your Discord, but okay. So Must Soap, for context, Must Soap is also another webcomic. It's a Taiwanese.
It's such a weird webcomic.
Creepy.
It's such a weird comic.
Yes, it's a Taiwanese webcomic about a bar of soap, and also his friend it's a bottle of shower shower cream, and it's full of muscles, if you like that kind of thing, and it's kind of crack worthy. So it's got quite a huge following on the internet, especially in Facebook, where people have uploaded it to other places and they've made translations for it.
Yeah, because it's incredibly creepy.
Yeah. It's not creepy in the bad way. It's just more
dude,
okay,
the soap is called S. The shower cream is called M. They literally play out that fantasy constantly.
They're not called M.
Yeah, it's S and M.
It's called creamy.
No, it's
called creamy.
Are you sure? I swear it's called M. Creamy. Oh, I thought it was S and M.
No. My god, I've even read the Mandarin versions, man. Look, anyway, so Must Soap, right? The Must Soap team actually asked, which conventions, should we table at? Yeah. And, what would you want to buy? And they had, a small survey, made it really easy to access and complete. So it wasn't, long, or whatever. Not long, man! Yeah. And, they, So then they decided to table at Comic Fiesta in the end, because recommendations from their friends said AFA in Singapore was hard to get tables at. So they tabled at Comic Fiesta. It was great. They sold out quite a bit.
Yeah, they sold,
that's the kind of strategy that I think if you've got a following that's big enough, you should be taking.
I would have got that couch pillow so fucking quickly.
Yes.
I've got a couch pillow. My life. She gets this shit.
So
I don't get anything.
It's cute. You want to if you found the image, you can show them like the pillow that I got.
I found Must Soap
Like-
is on a hentai site. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You have to find them on Facebook. Must Soap is on Facebook. Check also, I really like your name, Zemnas13. Screw you. But I love it. I love it.
Must Soap is MUSSOAP.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. Just go on Facebook and type that. They're on Facebook. They have a Facebook page and it's properly translated. And they have a YouTube channel where there's animations of Must Soap. And it's great. It's great.
It's no actual speaking.
Yeah, it really is. No, actually.
Ooh, like sort of like voice. It's just voices.
Kaz is basically
Weird
a Must Soap character.
Voices.
Oh my
See?
god!
Oh my-
Fuck.
Yeah, my dog would like to remind us that we have been like speaking for about just slightly over an hour. That's all.
That's true. Your dog is correct.
It's okay.
Your dog
It's okay.
is-
That's true all this time. Not your favorite chicken nugget dog.
I don't think we've really missed anything. So if people have any questions, it'll be a good time to ask us. I think.
Yes.
Ask
yeah,
all the
so-
questions you want to ask that are related, and then we can move on from there.
So far we have talked about like the ways that comic creators could like attend the con, whether it's tabling or just like as a visitor, but sometimes you do a fan meet to interact with fans.
That's
or
true.
you know, just do it. I mean, if you're in a populated enough area and you know you have fans in the area, then then go ahead and like, do a casual meet.
That's
But this all necessitates like this is, I mean, what needs to be done is you need to have done the comic long enough, builds up a decent enough size fan base. So
building a fan base is very important to this. And just talking
if
to
you're
them
on
is
Line
very
Webtoon, if you're on Line Webtoon, that gets easier. Tapas as well, because
Although I will say this again, when you start with Line Webtoon, depending on what you're making, it is hard. So please remember, upload your content as many places as you can to get as many people knowing that you exist as possible. People can't hate or like what you make if they don't know it exists.
Mm-hmm. It can be a bit tiring to keep up with it, though, so I do understand it.
I do get it. It's a pain in the ass. We barely keep up with our social media and stuff. And, you know, we're always busy. Original art versus fan art. We did talk about it, but essentially, if you're going to a con to sell fan art, there are better places to sell fan art. I'll be honest with you.
The thing is, it's all right actually. The con is a quick way to like sort of get people to like discover you, and via fan art. But if you're getting people who go there to attend a con to see you for the name itself, hey, good stuff. Like, you know, you're getting somewhere. Not enough people usually do, especially if it's your first time at a convention.
Yeah.
Like, it depends like really how accessible you are to your audience and whether your audience has that purchasing power. You may have a lot of young fans and they don't always have the money to spend on you.
Yeah,
and
young fans are great. They support
personal.
the shit out of you. They're broke as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept it. Like
it's nothing personal. Like, you know, they're broke, but I mean, doesn't mean cheapen your wares like out and stuff like that.
No, not
on
that.
The other hand, like on the other hand, you might have somebody who just goes there and they're looking for merch of a certain series, and they see you and they've not met you for the first time.
Yeah,
they've just not met you for the first time, and you know, at least have a name card there and stuff, and you know, hook them in that way.
Yeah. Also, don't make work for the most popular art right now.
Why? Why is that?
Because everyone is doing that. Like, if you go to a con, do you know how many BNHA fan art tables there are? Like, I don't need more. You know, if there's so many BNHA fan art tables, everyone's gonna just be like, well, you're just like everyone else. Yeah, if your stuff doesn't stand out outstandingly, you're probably not gonna get a lot of hits. You know, you want to go for something known, but not really the talk of the town. So like, you wouldn't go to a con and sell Naruto back in 2009. You know. On
the other hand, if you can put like a fun meme twist on it, that's actually all right.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people like with Plastic Love, Maria Takeuchi. Yeah, somebody's actually been selling charms of that. Of that painting. They painted her in the cute way and sold charms of it. They painted like the chill hop like anime girl and sold charms of it.
Oh my god.
So see, you can sell things like that.
Yeah.
So if you can put a meme twist on like whatever franchise you're doing, rather than just having like it can't just be cute. It should like be cute and maybe a little bit funny.
That's the thing. If you can put that twist on it, but if you haven't got like, there's the thing with people like that, with creating stuff like that, they still didn't make the most popular thing going on. They took something that they found that was doing well, and they made a twist on it. Like, you can do that when the market is like, you know, there, but the supply is low. It's very easy to do that. So I guess like right now, something would be good to make a piece that would be, something that would be good to work on right now would be maybe Shield Hero. Shield Hero is popular, but it's not too popular because people think it's really grotesque. But it's not too unpopular that nobody will buy stuff for it. So if you decide to go out there and start drawing Shield Hero shields, you know, and you know you started drawing like all the 4 heroes, but then like they're Voltron characters, or 4 heroes, but then they're all they're all characters from Parasite or something. You see what I mean there? You've mixed things that people like, you've added them together, you've made them more interesting, and you've sold to a market that is there but has a low supply of art. It's something to
I'll tell you what I bought, like, and I don't usually buy, and as a rule I don't usually buy merch because merch to me, right, is pretty but not really practical. I don't put prints up on my wall.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they yellow with time, and if I wanted to find like a UV safe frame that's a bit of a faff, and I don't want to like,
I get you.
I don't want to be sticking things to my wall. I don't usually buy like charms because they're cute, but I only have so many zips, and they sometimes get in the way, and I can't really use them at work all the time.
Yeah. I
do, however, have a set of fridge magnets that are the Hero Academia characters, but drawn as corgis. See, that's practical as hell.
That's practical, yeah.
It's cute, it's funny, and that is the sort of thing that would buy merch.
Pens work, although, like, I don't know, it depends on you. If you can make styluses for tablets, because they don't really, I don't know if they still use special ends, but back in the day they didn't. I'm so old when it comes to tablets.
So I don't use, I mean, if you want to sell prints, right? I mean... Yeah. Go ahead. Like, I mean, there will still be people who will still buy like the large prints.
Also sell clothes. Clothes are the most important thing, and not just any clothes. Hoodies, t-shirts are overrated. Hoodies, trust me.
I don't know. Like hoodies are a little bit more of a cost outlay, but you can make them limited.
Most people
the muscle pillow was limited.
Yeah, exactly. Make a limited edition.
They only brought 2. I have like 1 of 2. Like
you spent like $100 on that, didn't you?
Yeah, round about that. Like I had like a bonus from like, you know, some commission work I did. It's okay.
She's so much richer than me.
I'm not. You're earning in pounds.
Yeah, I'm earning in pounds, but I'm getting paid like Conservative Party rates.
Which
Conservative Party minus the many taxes that they place on me.
Yeah, but your money's like still worth 5 times of mine. Although it might crash because of Brexit, but you have a delay right now. So
why are you doing this to me? You just want to make me.
Segueing aside. A lot of people will still continue to buy the cute but not really practical merch. I do, however, if you want like older fans who have the money to spend, right? Get stuff that is actually like more practical. So I've seen stuff being sold as like clear folders. I have a friend who is a background artist. Like, I swear he's like Makoto Shinkai's secret protege.
Is it that guy who does the animations on Picarto?
Not animations of Picardo, but it's Nick. Okay. But he paints a lot of like cool backgrounds, anime backgrounds.
Yeah, I think I know him.
He's also Singaporean, so he has. I mean, he doesn't just have an art book and prints. He also has like a clear A4 folder, so you can use it to like keep your art, and it's not like crazy weeb. It's still pretty, so that's practical.
That's
books are practical. Calendars are practical. Obviously, make sure that your design isn't like, you know, full on waifu all over the place.
Exactly.
Like
don't make it too obscene that they can't take it outside.
You just, I mean, if you want to make that, you do it like maybe like a subtle, like, you know, most of the book, like if I want to design a book cover, like most of the book cover is like plain-ish or like subtle pattern, and then you have like your characters, or you make your characters in the subtle pattern, or like just suddenly put them in like one side or one corner.
Stickers.
That's a good way to like
computer stickers.
Stickers are good, like, you know, decal, like decal.
Those ones. Nice MacBook users have this obsession with decals and stickers. There's almost no MacBook I've seen in the past year that isn't completely covered in stickers. So if you got those and they stick on MacBooks and they peel easily, so those are good.
Yeah, it depends. Like I think on the crowd that you've been looking at, and then like most of the MacBooks I see aren't always stickered, but hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's one way to stand out. Make merch that is also practical.
Yeah.
But and you know, put a twist on it instead of like just, oh, I'm just gonna draw cute this whatever, that's fine.
We had a Webcomics Hub T-shirt. I've lost it.
Oh my god! Where was my Webcomics Hub T-shirt?
I'm making a new one. As soon as I get money, I'm making a new one.
Yes, Moso.
Yes.
You like merch.
This is the part I've been waiting for this entire time. So let's say all this stuff is happening. You've gone, I have a comic presence. Like I have a presence, but I don't really have time to go to a con. Or all my fans live in America or Canada, you know, and you don't really
have the money to like pay for merch beforehand.
Exactly. And I need a lot of help. You know who you go to? Moso Box. And this isn't even the ad. This is actually part of the episode. You see what I did? I tied it in. What? Oh, fuck. Anyway, just ask him to help you. He does conventions in America and Canada, and you can actually get your stuff moved around. Going to people like Moso is a very good way of getting your merchandise
started.
Your merchandise started, because he's already experienced in the field. You don't have to worry about figuring out prints and things like that. It's a very valuable way to start being a convention, start having a presence in convention without having to spend the traveling money yourself. And this isn't a plug. This is actually like useful information. Do it. It works. If you really want to do that, but you don't really want to go all the way in there, it helps. Moso Box, more bang for your buck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you, I mean, well, you don't like foot the cost of the product. You do only like get a cut of like whatever proceeds there are. But yeah. I think for people who really just don't have the time, it's very worthwhile. I have personally worked with some people who are happy with the service, and I mean, we are still trying to get like Kari's book printed in America. I mean, printed and shipped in America via him. Although I need to go and ask like whether he's finished with his book files. It's been delayed for a long while, but we really have been like, oh, it needs to be done. Although it will take a while to get released. So fans of Mexico and America, please wait. Yeah. So then again, so there are many ways to get like yourself and your merch sold, and they don't necessarily have to be at cons per se, but cons do offer a direct avenue, like so you can. I mean, it sort of like taps into the excitement and energy of a con. So people are like, oh my god, this is so exciting. I've just discovered you. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this now.
That's true.
And it just sounds really weird.
And also people like Moso also keep your stuff sold on websites, and they ship around. So it does help. It does really like...
They ship around. I almost heard that sleep around rather than ship around.
Yeah, sleep around. But it is... It's a very good way of not only getting somebody to get your stuff to cons, but also getting somebody to actually be your online store, which for a lot of creators is very hard to find. And if you can get someone who can pay you an easy rate while giving your fans, I just got called a shill. While giving wow, you let that through. All right. While giving your fans a low price that they have to pay, go for it, because it really does help. And yeah, we're shilling a bit because Moso's our boy, a home slice. Much love, but he's also, you know, an actual like help to people who want in the convention field. And I swear I didn't actually choose this topic because of him. I just thought I did. Like Kaz chose the topic, so it wasn't me.
Yeah, I felt like talking cons because I'm going to be attending one.
Yeah, she's going to be attending.
And because I've been talking to like other people about like how to deal with merch and like the whole merch shebang.
Hey, Mac.
It is scary. It is scary to put the. Yeah, you didn't miss the thing. You missed about an hour plus of it, though.
Yeah, but the VOD will be on YouTube. I feel bad for everyone who watches this retroactively, because then they hear all this and they're like, what are they talking about?
So Kaz Shield, I can finally meet Kaz. Wow. Wait, is Burbank based in... No, is Burbank based in, like...
Ignore him. He's the most Latino boy you'll ever meet.
You're saying that that's a bad thing? SP is a Latino boy.
Look,
hello?
SP's different. SP is great. SP is my love.
God.
I'm in love with SP. It's not chilling.
Okay, just to recap, right? If you are a comic creator, And and you're thinking about like starting to sell, especially in physical presence, like say at conventions.
Yes.
Best to do it when you've had like your comic up for a while, at least a while, and running for some time.
Yes.
Do some market research and see where your readers are based. Like, and hopefully make it easy for them to respond. You don't always have to table at a con, but if you do, starting out with a half table, especially with someone who has got tabling experience, also maybe a fellow comic creator, is quite useful. So you pick and choose your cons wisely. Don't expect to sell lots, but if you do, hey, it's great. Pay attention to like printing requirements, and then above all, just have fun and relax. And I'm actually this is where I say like I'm actually available like for contact about like if people have any advice about like what to bring to cons, like based on your work. Doggies are getting excited. Okay.
I'm so sorry for that really loud noise. I literally fell off my chair.
My dad just came back.
My dad just came back.
So yes.
Holy shit.
I'm actually available for like advice on like what to bring to a con, and even though it is quite an inexact science, it's not really even a science per se, but
it's not a science.
I'm actually available for advice on that. I mean, for like slight portfolio reviews and like whether maybe you should be selling like maybe ideas of what you can bring.
We should just start
like
selling portfolio reviews because we both do it. This past week I've gotten 4.
You've gotten 4? Why didn't you pass them to?
Well, no, not from them. Not from them. I mean, from people who asked me, particularly came to me and was like, "Hey, so I'm thinking of making a comic." I'm like, "I don't know why you're asking me. I'm terrible at this."
Yeah, that can be a patron. That can be a Patreon like reward.
We should make that a Patreon reward. We should have more than one tier.
A Ko-fi donation of like whatever patrons for how many months of like this tier.
Yeah.
Okay, and or Ko-fi Ko-fi thing. Yes. We should be able to take that, like since especially since like you've been doing the editing and writing for quite some time. I've been doing editing and hustling for quite some time too.
You've been doing editing and hustling for longer than some people have been alive. You don't worry.
Well, we're talking babies. That's not really good comparison.
Hey, Ian, if you DM me, like I'll do it. Don't worry. Just if you send it to me.
Ian's someone I know, by the way, but
I didn't even know you knew
Ian.
Ian is our Patreon supporter. So, I know everybody. Why do I suddenly want magnets? Why do I suddenly want magnets and Cass cosplaying like Newman? Oh my god, I love Newman.
What's Newman?
It's a webcomic. Actually, yeah. Somebody asked me what my favorite webcomic is. It was Fernie. I don't know if Fernie's on right now, but I'm just gonna say it's Newman. It's not relevant to this entire podcast, but just so you know.
My god, man, half the segueing done by you, I think, today. Half the segueing today. The other half was like us responding to the to comments and all that.
Well, yeah, because like convention conversation is while there, it's not like the longest thing you have to talk about. Most of our work has to be on replies, what people are worried about, what people don't know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, plus, I mean, in a convention, this is pretty much going to be what it's like, assuming that you get on like off on the good foot with somebody. Like, you'll be talking comics, but you will segue into like other things that they like, and let it happen. Like, the creator is going to like remember you that way, or like you'll remember a good fan that way and stuff like that. It's a fun experience. I mean, even if you quote unquote say you hate people or you're scared of people, humans all thrive off social interaction in some way. Like, obviously not in extreme amounts, but especially if it's quality social interaction, you really can't like do without it.
Someone just asked, what do you think about the fast pass? All right. Kaz, do you buy fast passes?
I don't, but I think I don't know like how many kids have like I mean, pay for like microtransactions. Like, I think quite a lot more than we realize. Allow microtransactions on there, but it's if you're already like a certain age and you're starting to spend money on like microtransactions, like because your parents let you for a certain amount.
What do you think a fast pass is?
No, I need to talk about this because like Fast Pass ties into how easy it is to do a microtransaction to buy the coins in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Hello?
My bad. My brain like shut off for a second. I thought you were talking about convention Fast Passes.
No, no,
No,
no,
I
no,
was
no. This
thinking
is
about the
definitely webtoon.
convention fast pass, like like the
Priority entry?
yeah, priority entry. My brain was like, I was like, have you ever bought the fast pass? I haven't.
Um, well, convention ones, I'm like, it depends on like what you want. But okay, for webtoon fast pass, it's just another way for people.
I haven't
to,
even
like,
seen it. I'm gonna go look at it now. Where do I find it? I'm on the website.
Some webtoons in featured have already got fast pass.
Okay,
and
which
I'm
one?
Like,
which ones?
it is what it is.
Tell me which ones to have it, so I can go click on it and look at it and understand it in like a minute.
The BTS one, True Beauty has it.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the BTS one. Is it just the whole thing, or is it from a certain chapter? I guess.
Certain the next few chapters are fast pass. Lord Olympus does have it.
Yeah, I see that.
It's so okay. So fast pass has caused multiple comics to go on a 1 month hiatus so they can build up a buffer. Honestly, given how hard it is for
is fast pass only mobile based, because BTS doesn't stop me from reading anything.
It doesn't look like it, but then the other episodes, like, they may not show. How many episodes can you see on your screen?
15.
15. Okay, give me one moment. I will look up the. Yeah. I'll look it up for you.
Okay, because I'm trying to find the button for fast pass and it's not like on the website. I'm genuinely, so it's basically mostly on mobile. Okay, I can see what the problem is.
It's mostly on mobile, yeah, I guess.
I'll just open on my phone. I was on my computer like some noob.
I think that might be the end of the comic. I'm not sure. Let me have a look. If that's the case.
If Lord Olympus has, I'll just go to the last. I see it now. Fast pass 3 episodes. Okay.
On your phone?
Yeah, I can see it on my phone. Okay. The coin shop. Okay. How much is the exchange rate? 10 coins and then 5 coins to get access. So about, I guess.
Okay, so Lord Olympus, how many episodes can you see on the PC?
3 and fast pass. On PC I can see, let me just go to Lord Olympus on my computer. This is really bad time to be doing this research. I can see 54, but I understand that there are 57.
Yeah, you can see 54, but does it show fast pass?
No, it doesn't show fast pass on my computer. It's only on my phone. I have to be on my phone.
Well, that's the thing. They are maximizing, like, how easy it is to, like, do microtransactions on your phone.
Yeah.
And it's only fair, to be honest. Like,
look, it's 50 cents.
Costs multiple...
Yeah, it's 50 cents. It's 50 cents a chapter. You're not gonna die. It's fine. I personally, I'm okay with paying them the 50 cents because it's a medium for people to read this stuff. I will admit though, I did pay for an entire series on Tapas, so maybe I'm just a weird person. I paid Tapas for an entire series. I'm okay with paying for the ink. I'm okay with paying for the coins. Wait, the coins expire? What? No, okay.
The coins expire after you, so you can't even bank coins for a
my
specific
opinions
comic.
My opinion has changed. I disagree now.
Well, I mean, so what you were hoping to, like, if you're hoping to bank coins for a specific comic, Fast Pass is only for, like, a few episodes at a time anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is, let's say there's like if they want to expand this and they want it to become something where like an entire comic is Fast Pass only, which is possible and it's not a weird thing.
No, that's premium. That's premium only then.
Yeah, but you see my point. Like something like that, if they want to do that, what if a kid can only afford like 10 and the full thing costs like 120? They can only afford like 10 every so often. And they can't.
10 every so often. That means you read 10 episodes. Then you read how many?
Yeah, but like, when it comes to buying like the
20.
whole thing for 120, it's usually cheaper to buy the whole thing for 120 than to buy 10.
Then they'll expand like the coin purchases. To be honest,
I don't believe they will because like, okay, video games have taught me this. If you want to make money from microtransactions, you gotta milk it really hard, and like a way of milking it is making sure, for example, they're being very nice, but it's stuff like charging odd numbers. Fortnite does it a lot. They charge odd values for their stuff. So let's say you buy 750 coins, something will be like 446. That way you're always at a weird number, and then you feel the need to buy more.
I think you don't know how Legend uses it. Then the whole coins thing for whole.
I don't like Legend.
You probably haven't seen how Neighbor does it. They definitely have bigger denominations for coin purchases on the actual Korean webtoon website.
Yeah,
you have bigger ones for Legend, and Legend actually lets you earn free coins as well, which they do expire too, but then again, like you have to kind of like look at habits and let's see. Just wish now it happened how Naver had it.
I think
Webtoons has a subscription service. Everyone on it is a week ahead.
So Naver's is different, isn't it? Because Naver's is different because Naver's in Korea, you literally pay money. Like you pay directly money to directly. It's not like a coin thing. You just buy, you spend money on their site, right? Or am I thinking of Dom? I'm thinking of Dom. I think
that's probably Dom. Like okay, so in Korea, right? Let me just have a look at subscription service.
Yeah.
So I think people just they just like launch like whatever payment systems that people are the most familiar with, and it's different in different countries. You can't expect it to be totally identical in Korea versus like it in the American international website.
Yeah.
You could like maybe depending on how things go, we might be able to push like Line Webtoon to change their payment model.
Yeah, they're very willing to change at this point, but you need to understand that they are
people hate subs sometimes.
Yeah, people hate subs. Like look, everything's a $10 subscription right now, and look, I love having Spotify and I love having all my little apps and stuff, but trust me, it pisses me off sometimes.
People like look at the sub money and go, "Oh my god, that's so much!" But then they willingly spend more than that over a period of time in the month.
It's a payment bias thing.
Because microtransactions tap into that part of the brain.
Yeah. So like, look, don't hate them for this. Also, the reason they're so cheap and small is because they're made for younger people. Webtoon is for younger people for the most part. It's a lot of older people coming and making content, but the people who are reading, the people who are accessing the content are very young. So they're trying to tap into that. They're also trying to tap into the fact
In Korea, however, reading webtoons on your phone is like an across all ages thing.
Yeah.
It's not as like, it's not as like, it's like still rather niche in America and elsewhere, which is why you have to understand the different payment systems exist because, they know in Korea they can bank on that. They can't really do that.
They can't really bank on that. Ad revenue doesn't make a lot of money in America unless you're like, Webtoon doesn't want to do it. But you need to advertise like properly. Like you guys all hate. I'm sure everyone here hates that whole like web page. Yeah, I saw. You told me about the 100 subscription limit. Everyone's seen that whole page ad that some mobile apps have. That's the only reason. And you understand that even by showing you that, they still don't make money. You have to click on it for them to make money. That's why so many games and stuff make ads like unskippable. They just auto click and make you watch the thing and make you click on it to escape. If not, like they can't make money. And like Webtoon's been trying to avoid being that application, that website that forces you to look at ads, but it's an unfortunate necessity.
Yeah. Later when you edit the video, can you do like a timestamp thing for the fact that we did segue into like audience questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna get someone to help me with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to this whole thing. I'm just, I'm gonna get my one of my many side chicks.
Man, but yeah. So Nick, I hope that answers your question a bit. Like different market, different like payment model. And because Naver Align doesn't have the same clout that it does outside of Korea. I mean, in Korea that it does outside of Korea.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, you need it to be like Google level in order for it to make that much money to like do the same thing it does outside of Korea.
It's just what it is as it stands. It's not something they can help. I can't really I'm only upset that it expires after a year. I don't believe that you really allowed that? Okay. I don't believe that it should expire after a year. I believe that, if you over the course of a year, if you buy a shit ton and you just have them hanging around, you should be able to spend them whenever you want.
Paid coins should not expire and free ones should. That's how I feel.
I work with that. I can work with that because paid coins are essentially, it's like it's an exchange rate. It's like switching your money from pounds to dollars and then it just vanishes to thin air after a year. How would you feel? It's dumb as fuck.
But yeah, I mean, but I have to admit, like banking coins for a comic doesn't really happen because Fast Pass only is about 2 to 3 episodes, let's say.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be premium.
If you're like going, but people went on hiatus for a bit, now they've come back with Fast Pass, they're milking it. Dude, like you're not. I mean, you're not obliged to. Like in a way, it's also nice for them to like pace their work a little bit too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like I feel like they deserve the money. Although I can also see the argument people make where it's like, well, I mean, they want to just give them directly the money anyway. You're not gonna know you've done this, but if you pay for FastPass as often as they expect you to, over the course of a month, you will pay them more than any $5 per month donation does, and you won't even know you've done it.
Yep. Psychology is a lovely thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is beautiful. Like
consumer psychology. The money they make is more money for future chapters. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think FastPass has growing pains and it has things to achieve, but I don't think it's an inherently bad thing. Again, I pay money to tappers to read their stuff, and people don't like me for that, but whatever.
It's just another way to like support your creator without having to pay like Patreon or Ko-fi if you don't want to like expose your PayPal account that way.
Yeah, although when it comes to us, do think about paying Patreon or Ko-fi. Expose your PayPal account that way.
Man! I would rather buy the artist a pizza than give them a $20. Well, you do you, but sometimes
but that makes sense. That's the thing is, a pizza's $20. A pizza's $20 in most countries. That's the thing. It's like it's a psychology thing. It's just your brain will go, I would rather give them this fake thing than give them real money, because your brain sees fake money and it goes, it's whatever. But real money, it's cold hard green, or in the UK, red and blue. Which one's red? The £10 note's red? The £10 note's orange.
£10 note's red. The bluey ones are like I don't know. There's your 20 and then there's your 50. 50s are rare.
Oh, 50. All 50s
and then
I've seen are crisp. Every 50 I've ever seen in my life is crisp and brand new. Never seen.
And probably counterfeit.
Yeah, most likely. Let's see.
And then large.
British talk. Yeah, Kaz and I bond over the fact that we're both essentially inherited British people.
Yeah.
We're both
anyway, we are like, I think we're pretty much like almost done. Like we're probably dragging the yarn.
Pretty much, yeah. We're done. Anyone just questions and leftover stuff.
Like I mean, it's about like what actual other like con advice I can give. It has to be kind of slightly tailored to each artist, because you're gonna have different audiences. We can give like some general advice on like what to prepare and like what to look out for, but in terms of like what exact merch to bring, don't be offended if people don't really want to answer that for you, because it's not that they don't want you to succeed. It's because there's no like right or wrong answer per se for it. They don't know like your clout, quote unquote.
Cons are person specific. Cons are fan base specific. Cons are complicated. But cons are still fun and things you should try to do, at least attend and meet some people.
And obviously it's a little bit silly for people to mistakenly assume that, oh my god, I met this person at a con, we're now like best buds. But at the same time, it just that brief like interaction can really like linger in the minds of your fans, and people really do treasure that sort of thing.
They do. It is $2.39 it's $2.40 in the UK.
They want to enjoy work, but a lot of them also want to like have a look at like what the personality is behind the work and go like, that explains why.
Also, a good way for testing the water. Talk to them and be like, do you want to be an artist? Do you want to join me on Artist Alley? If they say yes, go, do you sell something related to this? If they say yes again, go, then let's do it.
Just ask. Just ask, like, I have this, show what you have. And I'm looking to share, like, I'm looking to share for like my first time.
Yeah.
Or
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I found that really
Don't forget commissions. Bring your tools to the trade and start selling. Okay, this is if you can confidently draw it. You your whatever in a set amount of time, and of a certain you can consistently do it like at a certain quality. Not every artist is able to do it, especially in traditional media. Like, you can do it in digital media and offer to send it to the email. That's another possibility.
But if you want to do traditional stuff, make sure that you're 100% confident in your ability to do things as quickly as possible, because even if one person goes, that wasn't what I wanted, it could backfire really badly. Public opinion could change. So try to make sure you keep whatever you're drawing really easy. Kaz does not have a webtoon, but she does edit for multiple webtoons. 2 webtoons actually currently, Exco and Driver. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And this is, I mean, so this is like a sort of a semi-exclusive announcement for now. I am actually doodling for another webtoon as a special appearance.
Ooh.
It's for some Q&A. I won't say which one it is yet.
Ooh.
But you will be able to see a Kaz doodle, not quite chapter.
Don't worry, we'll tweet it on the official account. It's fine.
We will.
I will tweet it on the official. I'll make sure.
It's just gonna be shitpost style. It's just gonna be shitpost level of drawing, by the way.
That's the art that I expect from you. Don't worry. I love your shitposting.
Oh, thank you, Bless. I mean, like, I don't know, like you can see like my very occasional doodles on I'm Catastrophe on pretty much any like social media account.
I have no real consistent name on social media because I am inept.
And that's why you don't have a consistent social media presence.
Oh yeah.
So F you.
Yeah.
Love you, really.
Yeah. My social media names change from like fucking computer science to computer, because my name that I chose like 17 years ago. Whatever, I'm going too long to this. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end. There's no real questions left. If you got any ones left, just DM us it. DM us whatever you really want to ask. We're on Discord. We're on the Discord server. So if you're already in the server, you can just tell us stuff. I don't think there's anything else.
There are multiple ways to support us.
Yeah, there are multiple ways to support us. But actually, before I get to that, I do want to thank the people. I do want to thank the lovely people who allow me to put their comics in our back panel and talk about them, because there are some people who create comics that are highly underrated, and we love them. Let me just do the command UC and Twitter on Twitch, and you can check out all their comic links and go read them. They're Blackburn by Radar Momo Gigi. Who Are You by Fleor, again, because last month we didn't do her enough justice, and Space Fiction Deep Space K9 by Ferretta. Go check them out. There's some pretty good comics to check out. We always like to support the small creators out here. And thank you to our lovely patrons, Ian, Nick the Halfling, Ayashi, Archangel, our Lord and Savior. Told me to call him. It was like, I don't know why. As usual, yeah. What else?
4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Our 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. If you like what we do, if you like what we make, do become a patron of our work. Do become a patron on our Patreon. Or if you think you want to give a small amount of money and you don't know how, we do have a donate button, but we also have a Ko-fi. If you like Ko-fi and you think Ko-fi looks cool, do that. Let's see. What else is there? Am I missing anything?
You can get waifus from Mosa Box and use our code.
You can get waifus and find ways to get your stuff at convention from Mosa Box using our code WCHUB, or you can just communicate with him on Discord and tell him we sent you. He's so nice. Have you seen his eyes? They are tantalizing.
Have you?
No.
Have you seen his eyes?
I wish I did.
God, this is what happens when I make Nen stay up and he's
I'm
like
in love with Mosa. I swear to God.
Yes, you can get waifu merch from Mosa Box. Use the code for money off a certain amount in your order.
Reminder to patrons that your content is coming soon. And if people do think that we should, people kept talking about merchandise today. People do think that they would like some actual merchandise, and they're on our Discord server. Do just DM me. And if I get enough responses, or just write it in the podcast section of the server. If we get enough responses, we might make one. We might make maybe one thing. Casual.
It has to be funny though.
Yeah, it has to be funny and practical. Yeah, nothing stupid. Yeah, thank you to our patrons.
Funny, stupid, practical.
Thank you for anything you give us to help us move on. And you are beautiful people. Thank you and good night. My name is Nen. That's Kaza.
Yeah, I mean, Nen better known as like, I mean, melanin proficient.
Melanin proficient. I'm Caucasianly deficient. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, that's what you
Caucasianly
call yourself.
deficient.
Who's coming up on our next show?
Our next show. What's our next show? Do we have a next show? Do we have?
We do in
friends?
2 weeks.
Do we have friends? I'm gonna look.
Well,
at
the timetable says it's pancakes.
Oh, pancakes. It was recommended by Radar, and the comic seemed really good. It was quite interesting. And it's nice to just talk to someone who isn't like, we've only been talking to people who are featured. I'll talk to someone who isn't. I'll talk to someone who's like making stuff and just doing as good as they can and is, owning it.
What do you mean featured? Like we talked to
Literally,
a lot of like Discover creators.
the past 3 people we've talked to are featured.
Wait.
Soap.
Wait.
Unfins.
Unfins is Unfins.
Soap, Unfins. We talked to before last year. All the people on the Soap is featured. No, not Soap. Featured? Fuck, no, I'm wrong. I meant Soph. Soph,
yeah, Soph and Issa. Yeah. Like we talked to some.
Also, last year we spoke. Everyone we spoke, almost like 2 of the 3 people, 3 people we spoke to last year are all featured now. I want someone else. I want real people, man.
Dear Lord, I'll be able to go back to my moderating job because this is what happens. You see, like I try to like provide the content. Like in this episode, because I've got more experience this time, and then just comes and segues everything. And
I refuse to be blamed for this.
Oh, God. Right, but I love you, really. This is why I keep doing this show. So tell us about your con experience. What you thought of the show, roast us and all that, because this has been a little bit of a weird one. But I think because life-wise, we're sort of slowly like settling down with some really high octane stuff. Oh. If you're gonna be in Singapore, I'm at Dojima in the first week of May, and I will be there at 2 different booths. One for a tabletop RPG game that I'm developing with some other people, and I will also be helping out Kari with Exco, and he's also got some other merch that's based on Merryweather IP. So come there. And we can, so I will definitely be around, DM me if you're going there. We'll have a chat if you want to talk about, webcomics, arting in general. Pretty much. Or buy me some boba tea. I love boba tea. Oh, my God.
And since I finally handed in my thesis, I'm free to literally be spoken to about anything. So any message you send me from now on Discord, or if you want to have a one-on-one talk about your work or whatever, like right now, since I have nothing else going on but a bit of studying, I got time for you. Do try to reach out.
Nen, are you available for love advice this?
Oh God, no.
I swear to God. Yes. You know what? You're so mean. Like, you just want to make fun of me.
Merryweather, we'll see. I mean, suggest people you want to see on the show. Show whether it's a repeat or not. Like, we have got plans for some people to come back.
Carrie's coming back. Guaranteed. I promised. Me, him, Love Fest on stream.
And I'm just gonna be there going like, what the hell is this?
It's gonna be like the Unfin stream all over again. It's just gonna be me talking to someone I know really, really well, or to some bad degree more than you. You're just like, eh.
Yeah. We have to thank, we would big up to our team of lovely ladies as well. Yes, they are mostly ladies.
Everyone's a girl. I'm the only guy. It's terrifying.
Yes. So Yaz, who helps to keep things ticking behind the scenes as well. And there's Scar, and there's Faye and Ink.
Faith and Ink.
And also Zebra as well, who does all our cool art.
The greatest. She's the hyena. She's great. Check her out on Twitter, Zebra4. No, her name was just
Zebra.
I think her name is just Zeb Draws now. ZEBDRAWS.
We can probably put her in the stream description. The channel description.
I need to do this.
We should.
I haven't had time.
Okay, so this is going to be a butt kicking from me and a bye, and check us out in 2 weeks' time, and keep talking to us. Thank you so much for attending, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Every episode, every podcast, we're so weird.
Ian, publish your comics so we can invite you already.
All right, peace out, guys.
Bye, guys.